to the Deucecast Extra. We are live back on a Tuesday night. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the way it's going to be. We're going to, for the rest of the year, and we've got the schedule prepared for the rest of the year, we're going to be on Tuesdays.
Well, let's rethink that at some point. We'll talk about that later.
No.
We have enough content for one night a week every week.
We have enough content for one night a week every week for the rest of the year. And we'll be talking about that in a very special episode of the Deucecast Extra in a couple weeks. But for now, we are here to talk about...
Tuesday night, we're here.
On a Tuesday night, we are here. I don't know what's going on with Earl.
I don't either.
Earl, are you broken? No, we're here to talk about episode 5 of Miss Marvel. And of course, a little bit later on this evening, as advertised, we will be discussing Thor, Love, and Thunder.
Bring the thunder.
And
bring the love.
We'll see who shows up for that.
I don't know that I'm going to bring a lot of love.
There was... you won't be the only one. There were some advertised guests, and we will definitely be bringing them on a little bit later to talk about Thor. I know for sure that the advertised guests do not care a lick about Miss Marvel, and so they...
Apparently the chat doesn't either.
No, apparently the chat doesn't either. In fact, who knows? The chat could just be the guests that are coming on later. I'm not even sure. So let's dive in. Let's give Miss Marvel its due.
Yeah.
And talk about episode 5. We know, Earl. First of all, I want to reiterate that I think Iman Vellani is a fantastic Kamala Khan who was barely in this episode.
She is a gem.
So why do you only have 6 episodes of a series?
That's right.
And your star of the show isn't in one of these 6 episodes, except for like a millisecond.
This is a strange episode to have for.
I get it. I get what they were doing.
You know, the weird thing is, for a lot of the Marvel shows, the penultimate episode's been one of the better episodes, if not the best episodes of the series.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this case, I think they might have put out the worst episode of a penultimate episode and the worst episode of the series so far. And I don't think it's weird. Bad. It was just kind of boring.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Look, I thought the story was okay, I guess, but it was unneeded and boring. They could have had one sentence in some type of exposition conversation and done this episode. I mean,
or made it a faster flashback. Like they did. Like they had a small flashback in episode 2 or 3. You know, just real fast.
Yeah.
Or maybe have this all along, so you're seeing this story about the grandmother, but in smaller snippets.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it took up maybe 20 minutes of the show, maybe longer.
Yeah. Which is about the episode.
I mean, I think it was it felt like more of the episode than just 20 minutes.
Well, it's probably only a 30...
he's talking about the flashbacks with the grandmother and the husband.
Oh, you're talking about the flashbacks with the grandmother.
Aisha and her husband, right? Or the whatever.
Yeah, the story of Aisha and Haman.
Specifically.
Who I guess we couldn't tell if they ever got married. They didn't really...
Because Kamala doesn't come in until the 21 minute mark. And so that's 21 minutes. That's when those flashbacks end. Yeah. And we get to the actor.
Famous Pakistani actor Fawad Khan and famous, by the way, Aisha Mawish Hayat. I could watch a show with her all day long. She was delightful on the eyes.
Yes. I don't know if you're watching this show. There have been some low points, but Iman Vellani is very much worth.
I have to keep
watching.
reiterating that, and because I really think that she's going to end up
doing anything this episode.
She didn't do anything this episode.
They didn't give her anything to do.
They didn't give her anything to do. It was a dumb choice. They didn't give her anything to do, and I don't understand that. Like when you've got somebody. Well, whatever. Apparently, this last episode that comes out tomorrow is going to blow everyone's mind. So we'll see.
Earl, I've legitimately heard it's got some big implications for the MCU. So.
Oh, no. The bangles are going to be attached to the 10 rings.
Yes.
I've even been watching...
Spoiler alert.
And
wait a minute.
Maybe
the 10 rings we saw on the floor.
Wait.
Scoop.
Hang on. Scoop from Earl. Scoop.
No, it's not a scoop. I mean, it's episode 3. You saw the 10 rings on the floor of the temple
Nathan.
they were in.
Look,
yes, Nate.
I mean, as listless as Phase 4 has been, they need to start tying some of this stuff together.
Yeah.
I think some of this stuff is supposed to tie together. I think it's been planned to tie together. I just think it's taken so long for this. And there's so much drawn out stuff. The only thing that doesn't feel like it ties together to me, or doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere to tie together, is Eternals with the giant hand sticking out of the water that has never been addressed.
Oh, but will it not be? I just heard a theory.
Look, Aussie Nate, I'm right there with you, dude. I mean, that none of the actors have been bad at all in this series.
In fact, the cast I think is really solid.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with Miss Marvel. I loved the modern day stuff in New Jersey. I love the family. The first couple of episodes were great. And then when you do this time jump in history, and the production of it felt like some kind of like, I mean, I hate to say this, some chintzy biblical drama type thing where it was like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like quality. I mean,
a lot of months of reshooting for this show, and so I wouldn't be surprised if some of that stuff was reshoots. And so that's why it looks so cheap.
Yeah,
but still, Aisha was very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. No, she was.
That made that
It was.
But
it was worth watching.
But then, of course, what's the bad guy? The bad clandestine lady that's the villain. Naranja. Does it matter?
Like that. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's what's unfortunate. No. But that's really what is unfortunate.
The clandestine.
Yeah. They're all dead now. So who cares?
Except for Cameron.
Well,
Cameron,
but there's a theory.
Except for Cameron. Yeah.
There's a theory that she sent her. Anyway, there's some interesting theories out there about.
I mean, she sent her powers to it. Or...
No, do not post that. Don't post
that. I'm surprised that we haven't, like YouTube hasn't come after us just instantly with Rhett typing that in the chat.
Rhett, they cannot depict that character.
It is not depictable.
They cannot depict that character at all.
Well, I didn't love. So one thing I didn't love was the newsreel, which didn't make a lot of sense because it seemed almost real, but then you wouldn't have a British guy talking about the great oppressor, Britain, comes and remove. And I was like, wait a minute, you didn't have that kind of lingo.
Well, you wouldn't have like a British person saying that about their own country.
I was like, what are they talking about?
Yeah,
the partition happened. Well, I mean, India declared independence, and so, but anyway, there's for some reason. Well, anyway, I'm not going to get into the post. I'm not going to get into revisionist history or anything, but
I mean, it's funny though because you're saying that, but the creators of the show are getting into revisionist history. So I mean, I don't know. I don't
know what we're talking about.
The partition.
That's like probably best.
The Brits, I don't know. It's weird.
I read a passage to India in college, so that's all I know about Indian and British.
Have you seen the movie A Passage to India?
I know that the movie cuts out a lot of the book.
E.M. Forster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The great sound, the boom into the cave or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is there? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that?
Oh, I do. I mean, my
I read Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children, which is about the forming of India as a nation.
Yeah. I mean,
we're here for you guys to educate y'all about history. This is the purpose of the Deucecast Extra tonight.
To talk about unfortunately, I don't care about the partition. No, I shouldn't say that.
Michael.
I shouldn't say that. I don't. I just look. I'm being honest. I don't care about the partition.
Well, it is.
I guess
no,
you're right. Have to
claim
I'm a dumb American because I don't care about the partition. I don't know. I mean,
you're right. It is. It is. It is a deep dive back into history that most Americans are like, okay, yeah, I'm educated now, but let's move on with her story into the current time. So, but it's explaining about the Bengal.
Thank you, Roth. I needed some support on that.
A Passage to India is about a woman accusing an Indian man of raping her. I think that's exciting.
Jeez, Rhett.
Oh no, Garrison. This is taking a terrible turn.
That's actually what a lot of.
Should we only give 9 minutes to this episode? Is that what we should do?
Well, we probably need to wrap it. Okay, so then at the end, there's some.
Yes.
There's a rift. She comes back at the modern time.
Right.
There's the rift, the famous. There's some kind of rift there. And
now Nathan makes a good, or I'm sorry, Aussie Nate. How dare I say Nathan?
I know. I just said.
Just watch RRR. It explains it all.
I got to on Netflix. 3 hours.
3 hours.
watch Gandhi to understand
Dude.
the truth.
I've seen Gandhi. I like Gandhi.
Gandhi's really good.
I
It's
do
really
like
good.
Gandhi.
It's
That's
a
a
well.
good-
It's a well.
Isn't that a really long film as well?
It is very long. Yes, it's about 3
Garrison, you
hours.
need to watch that movie.
Okay.
That is actually a pretty good movie. I don't know. I need this last episode to be so good for this series to be worth anything for me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, this is true. Roth is right. That movie.
Wait, who's the white guy?
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley. What? No, he's part Indian. He is half white guy.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think he's got some Indian in him.
All right,
But anyway.
you guys are going to have to say more about this episode, or we're just going to jump.
Well,
into
no, I'm
Thor.
trying to get to that.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
they
Go
come
ahead, go
back.
ahead.
So she
He's got a
snapped
very
back.
Indian name.
She snapped back into the modern era.
Yes.
They return to the same fight they were having. There's a rift of time or rift of something, and the clandestines think it's going to get them into whatever. They're back to their home, but they don't have the two bangles. I learned this by watching some video, and because of that, either they're Terrigen misted or they're rock monsters.
Look, you can't say Terrigen mist. You're not allowed to say Terrigen.
There's a
mist.
theory. That some people are thinking that that's an inhuman thing, but I think that
Well,
they just die.
Terrigen mist is not going to be a thing in the MCU.
AOS. That's only a.
But they just showed us Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness.
This is true, but that's in a multiverse. We might never see Black Bolt ever again.
I don't think so. I think if the reception's big enough, though, especially from that cameo,
I feel like
they'll try to get Anson Mount in some more.
Yeah,
we need some Anson Mount.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you know what we can talk about since we're done talking about this episode
Wait,
when did we decide that?
no,
You guys just went off on tangents about partition and.
I've got another 3 hours to talk about.
Go ahead.
No,
take your no.
I'm kidding. I know.
The Doctor Strange Assembled was awesome. That was a very good.
Yes.
If you haven't had a chance to watch that,
That was
really good.
one of my favorite assembled so far.
Yeah,
I
it was
loved
really
it.
good. It was
Bruce
really good.
Campbell as the host.
Yeah,
Freaking
well,
A,
that
man.
was kind of stupid, but
Oh,
That and the-
stop it.
No,
that was awesome.
great.
That was so good. I loved that.
And
Yeah.
I love how much he jokes about his relationship with Raimi and how he wants
Yeah.
to destroy the car, and that's been a long running gag for.
oh yeah,
him
now I
to
didn't
mention.
know about the car. I thought that was totally cool.
He tells a story about the car in
All
his
the
book.
Raimi.
that I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
get to, but
the
yeah.
Oldsmobile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved all that. That was really
If
good.
Chins could kill.
All right, before we lose the crowd, look.
Oh no,
there's
they're
not much
loving it.
more-
They love it.
There's not much more we can say about episode 5 of Miss Marvel. I mean,
Well, Cameron hooks up with Bruno or whatever his name is.
what? I
And-
didn't see that part.
Whoa, not
Can
hooks
you
up.
rephrase that?
Wait, I didn't
Not
see that
hooks
part. What
up.
are you talking about?
Cameron
What?
goes and finds Bruno, and there's
Were
a
you watching?
drone-
Were you
All right.
were you
Just
watching Big
forget
Hero
it.
6 or something? I mean,
Let's move on to Thor: Love and Thunder. Never mind. I was trying to close out.
Were you
the
watching
episode.
the Baymax cartoon? Is that what you? I didn't see that episode. All right. Here we go. We're gonna do this. The crowd. Yes, I understand, Rhett. We're gonna do this Thor thing. So we're gonna bring some folks in that we invited. We've got Roth from
That-
What's up? Zeusette. What is that?
Zeus,
It was Zeus's little
Right.
entourage of women.
Right, I'm
who is
gonna
That's what
Right.
they're credited as.
I
Who's
can't
talking
bring
right
you in,
now?
Rhett.
Who's talking?
Rhett, you've got to change your screen name. I can't.
You
bring
can change
in.
his screen name for him.
Oh, I can. Okay, I'm going to
Yep.
change it to no. I'll let him
No.
change it. I'll let him be an adult and change his screen name. First,
I
we'll
wanna
bring
see
in
this.
Before we let him in.
one of the original co-hosts of the Deucecast movie show, and back then it was just the Deucecast.
Yeah, he and Earl,
Um,
by the way, for a while there were like the same,
Yeah,
like
they were-
14 appearances,
yeah,
15
four-
appearances,
yeah.
like
Wait,
together.
where? Who? What?
Who? What? Here we go. We got
Oh,
Matt.
Jack Taggart's
What
here.
is
Oh,
up,
I'm
dude?
Steve.
Hey, man.
You're on mute, my
I thought you
friend.
were talking about Red.
Am I unmuted now?
You are
You're
unmuted now.
unmuted, yeah.
Yes.
I don't
Welcome.
understand technology anymore. Once I left the Deucecast, I just
yeah,
went
yeah.
out into the
You
desert.
stopped like
Yeah.
evolving your technology when you left the
Mhm.
Deucecast.
I've lived in a cave ever since.
I understand. And then because Rhett just changed his name, his screen name will Rhett.
The dog.
That's good. Welcome, Rhett. How's it going, buddy?
Great. Woo!
Are you excited to talk about Thor?
Yeah,
Love
well,
and Thunder?
I mean, I'm excited to do anything now that I sat through 10 or 15 minutes of Miss Marvel talk.
Have you watched any Miss Marvel?
Not 1 second.
The pilot,
Oh.
I really enjoy the pilot, and then everything else is just.
Oh god.
Well, I mean, the
Which
first
pilot?
2, 3.
Yeah, no, I'll catch up at some point when I give up.
The only pilot I've loved recently is Sully.
Oh,
Sully?
look, this is sad. This is the saddest.
Oh,
thing I've ever
nice.
seen. He's alone.
Everyone, everyone's on the show.
Alone in the chat now. That's sad. Somebody needs. Fat Maddox got to be there, hanging around somewhere.
That's he's an actual Aussie. Like this movie is basically an Australian-made movie.
It's shot in.
It's a New
Australia.
Zealand
Yeah.
made movie.
Well, it's
No,
both.
I mean, it was mostly
It's
Australian.
both.
They did it
So-
at
You got
Fox.
Hemsworth as an Australian.
They
I
did
guess
it
so.
at Fox
Man,
Studios. Same place Shang-Chi shot.
I don't even know how to do this necessarily because we are going to have, I think, a couple other people. No, maybe
Good
just
grief.
one other.
No,
one other.
David-
Well, no, one
David's
other
coming
person
in.
later on.
David's
Oh,
coming
David.
in.
Yeah,
It's
David will
not
be
just
here.
it's not just everybody in the chat. It's every subscriber
Shut up, dude.
to the show is going to be here.
It's almost the whole listenership for CTI right here. So.
No, no, yeah.
Oh,
No, that's not even a lie.
That's not even
You guys are
right.
doubling Good Day for a Movie.
Well, but
podcast.
I mean, they don't give, they don't let you download this kind of stuff and that kind of stuff in prison, which is where most of our listener base is.
All right, we're gonna go around the bend here. As far as how it's laid out on my screen, so there's no favoritism. I'm just gonna do it how it's laid out on my screen, real quick. Just Rifen.
Before
Yeah,
before we get
Go
going,
ahead, Jack
Mike,
Taggart. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a quick comment, but from a previous because I did listen to the previous.
Oh,
Wonderful
yeah.
10
My
minutes.
gosh.
Just five
It was
minutes that we
epic.
gave Miss Marvel.
But Ben Kingsley's real name,
Uh-oh.
Krishna Pandit Banji.
I put that in the
There
chat.
you go.
That's
Oh,
his
I
real
thought that was
full
some
name.
gibberish that you put in the
Yeah,
chat.
I thought he was having a stroke.
It was a chick.
That's his real name. Clearly,
Yeah, no, he's
not
Indian.
British.
Yeah.
Dr.
He is at
Earl
least
knew
partly
something.
Indian. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
That's
impressed.
Besides doctor stuff.
Besides doctor stuff, he knew something. Yeah.
Well, I think he grew up in. He grew up
This
in.
came up in the
England.
pre-show, Dr. Earl. What if a person doesn't is hurt by the sun? Is there a medical term for that?
hurt
Okay,
by the
wait.
Like
Is there
the
like a
sun,
is there like
Adverse to the
like,
sun.
like having
adverse
like
to the
a
sun,
like a sensitivity to the sun?
like powder?
Like an albino?
like solar dermatitis, like
Yes.
sunburn.
Maybe.
Oh, there's a funny.
Like a
That's
vampire?
sounds right.
So-
Solar
so-
Sounds very right.
Solar
Isn't
dermatitis.
derma
it
skin?
is.
I mean, solar
We do
The
not
sun-
do
and
Solar's
this.
and
pretty
solar
close to
is the
solar.
sun.
Yeah, it's gotta be it. This is a medical term.
fancy word for sunburn.
They have
They-
This guy's a regular
no context right
New
now.
England Journal of Medicine over here.
They have no context to this, Mike.
I know, but I thought I know since we have an actual doctor, I thought maybe figure it out.
I don't know what we're talking about, but
Yeah.
Can you be
Oh.
allergic to vitamin
There-
D?
there's a professor that was on my campus, and she could not go out in like the sun or something, and
Right.
and so she
Is
wore
she-
like really long coats and hats, and so
Yeah.
a lot of us behind her back said that she was a vampire, obviously, but
Is she Zartan? For-
we'd go in her office and she had one dim light in there, and
solar photosensitivity or
Zartan.
something.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's a
Maybe,
best.
maybe
That's
she's
a best.
djinn.
Hey, that's the best stuff right there.
That is the best stuff.
I'm assuming
What-
he was explaining it
Oh,
to
wow.
Rex.
What
Oh,
what you
yeah, that's a
don't
good
know,
one.
Aussie Nate, is he actually had a prop with him. to
Yeah,
show exactly how
I
to-
still have that digital rectal simulator, by the way.
Well, hey, first
That's a
mention
really
of the
bad
two
name.
words, digital and rectal. adjacent to one another in the history of the Deucecast Extra.
And,
Yes.
and simulator. Yes, it's it's
Yeah.
sort of
Oh,
like a
man,
flight-
we are
Simulator.
flight simulator, but for other purposes.
but different.
Simulator much better than stimulator.
Yes, exactly. One letter there. You got to be right.
Yeah.
Makes all the difference in the world.
It does.
Michael
basically-
Egan didn't make it to one person to talk
I
about.
know. Ryfin,
All right, well,
give-
good show, everybody.
give
Yeah,
your
thanks,
thoughts
guys.
on Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't.
Well,
know,
I
man.
entered into this movie. I didn't really
Okay.
love the second trailer. I thought the first trailer was okay. I was excited to go see this movie with some friends, as I always do. I go see the new Marvel movie with this group of friends.
Sure.
They all enjoyed it. I came out of this thing, this bottom tier MCU for me.
Wow.
I'm very close to putting this at the bottom of
Wow.
the MCU.
Below
Uh,
Eternal.
It is hard for me. Oh, easily. It is hard for me to. I enjoy aspects of Eternals. I enjoy aspects of this a little bit, but I'm close to putting this below Dark World, and I loathe Dark
Wow.
World. That
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
I understand the change in direction they took with the character after Dark World because Dark World was
Sure.
so bad.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
listen,
this
I'm gonna
this is
go ahead
cranking
and
that change to a
I'm
different.
gonna tap
direction.
out. You don't need me. Ryfin has me covered.
I don't know. I'm going to talk about some things I did like.
Yeah,
but
Okay.
yeah.
We'll get to all that. Real, just high level thoughts or low level thoughts. Dr. Earl, what did you, just coming out of it, what did you think?
Yeah, so I've always had struggles with Taika Waititi, but I think with Ragnarok, he had a good balance of serious, just a little bit of silly, but I think the silly overshadowed the seriousness in this one. But I will say this, I saw it twice and I liked it better the second time
Oh,
I
you saw it
viewed
twice.
And I actually hit the emotional
I've seen it once.
feels with the whole sort of Thor Jane relationship.
That's fair.
Mhm.
Cancer struggle. So I'm going to put it at a 70%, 75%.
I like to call her John instead of Jane.
Jodie Foster
Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda.
Those,
is the story about Elle and his
Natalie
enjoyment.
Portman was on so much testosterone that pretty manly there. She had a little
Wow.
chiseled jaw.
My
Chiseled.
God.
Oh, no,
She
no,
was
going Adam's
Michael,
apple.
no.
Hey, she looked like Barry Bonds.
Why does becoming Thor turn your hair blonde? No, go around.
Yeah,
the
Okay, no, we're gonna keep going.
that's
Okay.
stupid. But anyway,
Okay,
that- that's
It
Uh,
grew.
let's see.
It grew out. It grew longer too.
Roth, you're
I'd
next
say
on
see it
the-
again, you'll like it more. How about
Roth's
that?
seen
I-
it twice also.
I have seen it twice. Opening night and then last night. I saw it the second time because I enjoyed it. I think it's like a very
sure.
average movie. I don't think it's bottom of the barrel. I think
bottom of the MCU is average for me, but
that's fair. I think Taika went too far using I don't know, 15-year-old meme video with goats screaming was maybe not the greatest call to use that aspect for the entirety of the movie.
Truth Smasher, baby.
um,
Truth Grinder.
I don't think it never took itself seriously enough to make an impact emotionally,
yes,
and
good
it
God.
wasn't that funny to me.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fair.
yeah,
That's
okay.
fair.
But I liked
wanted
the
to
plot
be
of it.
Sad about Jane's death, and I was never sad.
Yeah, no, I was
Oh,
kind of
man.
happy.
Oh gosh. Wow.
Okay, I wasn't happy.
I mean, she was such
All
a
right.
nothing character.
All right.
Uh,
All right,
Roth loves cancer.
Yeah,
This is the one.
Yeah,
This is the real
I-
woman hater, guys. Pile on him. Pile on.
I went in with Stephanie to this one.
Oh, you took Stephanie. Oh no.
We did. We went to see it Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so like I'm mixed because I think from a just like mindless, like no, I'm not gonna think about this too deeply.
Sure.
It was funny. Like I laughed a lot. There's a lot of GNR in there. I'm a huge, Axl
Mhm.
Rose fan.
Mm.
There's a reference to Axel as a name,
Mhm.
which is,
Mhm.
Throughout the film.
I mean,
Yeah.
kind of amazing. I don't know. Not
Astrid.
but I mean, overall, it's like the TikToking of the MCU.
Dude,
like
wow.
that's a good way of putting that.
It's like
No.
everything is turned into these little memes.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say this right now. Taika Waititi is the Ryan Johnson of the MCU, but funny.
Ooh.
Okay. I was
But
about to
funny.
say. I was about to say
Okay.
Taika. I like
But he's
Taika.
funny, so we
Oh.
let him get away with it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
He
that's
destroys
fair.
everything.
He destroyed.
Sorry,
Okay,
go ahead.
I see what you're
Whoa,
saying.
See, I
wow.
don't
see
think
what you're saying.
Ragnarok destroyed everything.
I like
But he
Ragnarok
keeps
is like
going.
my
I
8th
mean-
favorite MCU movie.
But
Yeah.
he keeps going with it.
It enabled
I
him.
mean,
Like
Infinity
Ragnarok
Stones,
enabled him. And
Yeah.
there's no gravity at all.
The thing
anymore.
is, like, I mean, you watch Jojo Rabbit. I feel like there is
But
gravity
that's
in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but not
Yeah.
in the MCU. That's why I said
Yeah.
of the MCU. Knives Out has gravity.
Yeah.
You know, but
Oh,
The Last Jedi is
great movie.
a pile.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry.
All right,
That's what I like to hear.
All right, Rhett. I'm just gonna go ahead, Rhett. Just go ahead.
Now,
Got my popcorn
not-
bucket.
What is that? A
hang
peach
on, we're
bucket?
not.
I don't.
No.
Pop my popcorn bucket.
Oh, sweet. You're looking for just broad general
Right now,
terms. Yeah.
right now, yeah.
Yeah, I may not be as hard on it as Ryfin is.
Wow.
Wow.
Uh,
Hey.
He came in really hot. And,
Yeah,
that's,
wow.
that's too much. No, it leaned into the silly too much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
way too much.
Agreed.
The worst part of it is the deconstruction of a pretty well-formed character in Thor.
Mm.
He's ruined. He was never an idiot. He, if you think back to Avengers, he has a pretty good conversation with Coulson walking through the helicarrier about Bilge Snipe, and we used to fight like blah blah blah, and we kind of evolved past that. He was mature and not a complete doofus. And his portrayal, especially, he was cocky, fish out of water, but not stupid, not completely full of himself. And that awful intro with him fighting with the Guardians and destroying that temple callously and without any sort of self-awareness is an undoing of the character for me. And there was a lot of that throughout.
Yeah, that was nice.
Those were the things that generally speaking. Now I think the cinematography was pretty good in some places. I love I'll get into some of that later, I hope, if we get to that.
Oh yeah. I got nowhere to be, so sure.
Yeah. There were some great scenes that we'll talk about, but just broadly, too silly, terrible characterizations. I thought Jane was okay. I thought Natalie kind of was still quirky and goofy enough, like she was originally. I didn't. They didn't. Yeah, too silly. But I also understand why I see a lot of people on my Facebook page who some of them are dumb, but others are not. They like it. They're like, I laughed. Oh, I laughed so hard. I'm like,
They wanted to go in for a laugh, and they came out with a laugh.
Yeah. And I do have a high standard for continuity and characterization and world building and things like that. And the gods undermined some of the world building that had been done in the MCU. So
chill, baby cake.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff, it's a negative overall for me, but I don't probably hate it as much as Rife, and I get why some people might like it.
You said some things worse than I said.
Well, but I also recognize that, like, I get why somebody should like it. It wasn't a miserable experience to me. I rolled my eyes.
Fun.
I rolled my eyes repeatedly. I would, but still,
Yeah,
just
I
didn't.
rolled my eyes. I also have
You
my
do
hand
that.
just like
You do that
this
at a
lot of
wedding.
time, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I bet this doesn't work out. But
I saw him do it once at a funeral. But,
look! Just the other day, a friend of mine died. His wife's father died, and I said, "Oh my goodness!" He texted me. I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. What? How did that happen?" He said, "Oh, he had a heart attack while he was baling hay." And instantly, I thought, "Well, I guess that was the last straw." But I didn't say it.
No,
I didn't say it.
With the bucket, Michael.
oh my
I didn't say
God. You didn't know this was going to be a prop show, did you?
This is what I look forward
any
to most about coming back. I can say that. When he started talking, I knew it was coming. Something good was coming.
I didn't want to start laughing just in case it was a real story.
Nah.
It's not the real story.
It's a real story. It was a real story.
I just laugh at things I find funny. I don't hold myself back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like an amalgamation of everything that you guys thought. I mean, there was certainly some funny moments. My problem is I think there's too much Taika right now in culture. Like he does everything right now. He has that HBO show. He seems like he's writing for every movie, directing for every show that Disney does. It seems like, and so I don't know. I mean,
He's
there's
so hot right now.
there's
Too
too
much.
much
Watini.
Taika. Too much Watini. He's about to do a Star Wars film, and that
Maybe,
terrifies me.
maybe.
Terrifies
Oh,
me.
man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely. It'll be funny.
Yeah, or it'll.
No,
in
'cause
his view,
here's
it will
what-
be.
Here's what happened: if he tries to shoot a Star Wars film like he tries to shoot like he shot Thor: Love and Thunder, he's gonna get Lord and Millard.
Oh,
Yep.
Lord Millard. I
Wow.
like that.
Yeah.
That exact thought
That's-
was-
Yeah,
that's
somebody
fun
better
now.
Yeah,
Lord
once
Millard.
principal photography starts, somebody better keep Ron Howard on standby.
Wow.
Because it's
or
clear that
Trank.
he does a lot of improv, and that's what supposedly got Lord and Miller in trouble. And even though I think Lord and Miller probably would have put out a really good film, but
It probably would have been okay. But I mean, I think that unfortunately for the film, Christian Bale was so good that everything around him
It's like in a
ruined
different
his
movie.
per-
He was really
I mean,
good.
yeah, I thought
but that's just
really
Christian
liked,
Bale.
and he
Yeah.
had the best character arc of a villain. One of we talk about
Yeah.
Michael
And I-
Keaton. He had a pretty good character arc as a villain, but
I wanted
mean,
to see
I don't know.
more of
yeah,
Thor.
I did.
I
too.
wa-
Well, I,
I
heard they
don't-
cut
I
a
don't
bunch
just-
of scenes.
I
of
don't
him
just
killing
mean-
gods.
I don't just mean in the film. I mean I wanted this to be a multi-film arc with him
Absolutely.
because he seemed like a
Oh,
villain
man.
where you could do that kind of thing.
They could have, they could have. I mean, better him than Ronan. I mean, I would have liked to have seen.
We got more Ronan than Gore, and that's
I know
Travis.
that's pretty sad when you've got Christian Bale.
Who's Ronan?
The
We had two
accuser.
Ronans.
We had two.
Ronan
Ronans.
Lee.
yeah. We had
Oh.
Mr.
He was in
Ronan-
Captain Marvel also.
Captain
yeah.
Marvel.
I thought you were
yeah.
talking about Love and Thunder. I was like,
Oh
am I
yeah.
forgetting?
No.
No, I was
We
just
bounce
saying.
around. Yeah.
And, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, and no. Let's do the things that you liked first, so we can have some
Okay.
positivity. Because we've just,
So we'll
high
end
level-
on a negative note. Okay.
Yes, yeah, good.
Yeah,
That's what the people want.
Nate'll
The
tune
people
out
want
when we
to
get
hear
to
the
the negative part.
Yeah,
We want the salt.
so the positive. I mean, Ryfin. We'll just go back in order that we just went. I mean, Ryfin, what do you think? I mean, as far as some of the positive
He's
stuff,
not gonna
you said
have
you didn't
much.
have many. But
I had laughs. I had laughs during this film.
yeah,
What'd you laugh at? Tell me one of those funny jokes, right?
I really feel bad, but I did laugh at the Jane Fonda and
Oh, no,
Jodie Foster.
look, that's okay.
No, I thought
That's
that was
funny
good. I
stuff.
thought that was fun.
From Korg. Korg was funny, although maybe a little overdone at
Little done,
points.
little much. Yeah.
Yeah, a little much.
But Korg has always been funny. I thought the Stormbreaker being jealous when
No.
he's sliding it in,
I thought
that
that was
actually was funny to
No.
me.
When
maybe
time he
the
slid in,
maybe
had its
one
moments.
time
Funny.
of that.
Oh, it's
Just
so,
one.
so dumb.
I liked
They
it
could have
every
done it
time,
like
I hate to
3
tell you.
times. They didn't need 10.
I cringed real hard at the personification of those weapons, the way they did, where that they have.
Well, the problem to
jealousy
me with
and-
that.
It was
Okay,
funny.
I don't want
It
to
was
get too
fun.
far into negatives because we're talking about positives. The problem to
Oh,
me
yeah,
with that is how does Mjolnir come back? Oh, because it wants to protect Jane, but it wouldn't just come back for Thor. It just
the
He
reach.
imprinted it.
when you start thinking about this
something.
personification
Yeah.
of the things, then it starts breaking all the stuff in my
It's
head.
That's
everything
your
breaks.
problem.
Correct.
Don't think about it. Just
And
go
they
to
don't
another TikTok
look. That's an
video.
overall. That's a problem with screenwriting today. Is they think of that'll be cool. Let's put it in, and they do not care what it breaks. They don't care about plot holes. They don't care about world building. They don't care about any of it.
Dan Murrell on his review said a good quote, and he said they went for moments over better storytelling.
Mm.
And I think that was very
Oh, yeah.
apropos for this film.
But almost everyone does. So
Yeah,
that's just
that's
a
not-
disease of
Yeah.
all movies today.
I mean, Nate, he definitely needed it like for all of
Oh, wait.
Thor Ragnarok.
What? Was
He
your?
said he didn't need the hammer. He was like weaponless until Infinity War.
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
need. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Stormbreaker
Yeah, but-
came to his aid.
Yep.
All right, where are we at?
Well,
Any more-
I thought Ryfin was about to say something, but go ahead, Earl. I mean, what were some of the things you liked?
Okay, y'all. Some people are not going to like this. I liked Russell Crowe as Zeus.
Okay.
See, I love that, and I love the
You've been
second
imitating the
time.
whole time,
it
so
just
it seems you
really
liked
got it.
Credit
So-
scene Zeus
Well, that was good.
was very
That
menacing
he's
and
bringing
good.
the-
Oh no,
yes.
that well, yeah, that's true. His characterization changed in the end
Yeah.
credit scene. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I think one was directed by the Russo brothers, and one was
right, exactly.
I just enjoyed that part. Now, I didn't love some of the stuff, and it did make sense that like Thor's there to recruit him, but he's killing gods himself. So he's saying, "I'm
Right.
recruiting you to go fight the God Butcher, but I'm gonna kill your chief god or whatever." But
You know who the ultimate God Butcher is? Taika Waititi.
I see what you did there.
Zing.
Because Thor Ragnarok was literally only that the whole time.
I
Yeah.
liked some
Yeah,
of the
that's
relation. I thought the Jane Foster cancer stuff. I mean, look, some of that story arc I liked about with her, and I liked the dark world. What is it called? The Dark Realm when it went
Oh,
to this
yes.
sort of black
The-
white.
Shadow Realm.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was
Shadow
cool.
Realm.
Yeah.
That's
And
what they
Gore
called
was
it.
pretty menacing
Straight outta
there. Like
Yu-Gi-Oh.
when he had
Mario
them all
Galaxy
wrapped
Realm.
up and was just taunting
Oh
him.
sure,
and
no, Gore was
I
a
thought
good
that
villain.
part was great. That was
I
great.
thought Gore was
So,
a good villain.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Al Gore.
Well, the internet.
Also a
Yeah.
good villain.
Also,
Man Bear Pig showed up in the film.
Sorry to
Hey,
get
Roth.
political.
Roth, what's
Yes,
the
Nathan. Yes,
Yeah.
great Australian Greek.
I
Go ahead,
thought
Rob.
the fight and the Shadow Realm planet thing was awesome.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the spot
really
color, I
well
love the
done.
spot color. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite parts of the movie.
Yep, the lightning bolt lighting up and the hammer lighting up. That was all very good.
Yep.
I liked all of the what was the name of the god planet?
Omnipotent
City. Yeah,
Oh.
I
Yes.
liked all that stuff.
Yeah,
I,
see,
Oh
that's
my
great.
gosh, it's like unobtainium. It's the dumbest thing.
I even like the name of it. I was like, oh, that's a pretty clever name.
I like how
No!
Like not like in a like, good clever way, but it's just a good Taika
Yeah, I guess so.
like
yeah, yeah.
Omnipotent
Yeah, I
just
get
City
out
was
there
great.
joke, like easy joke to make, but
Too
just,
obvious. Yeah.
yeah. And I liked Russell Crowe a lot. I thought
I do
it's
too.
not what
I
you're
thought-
expecting from the character, and I liked that because it's not like we're making an actual Greek mythology movie, so he doesn't have to be like real Zeus.
Well, and yeah, if you want to get into that argument, Marvel gods are very different from the
Oh, sure.
actual
real
mythological
ones.
The
gods.
pantheon.
Yeah.
Yeah. The real
The
ones.
real ones.
Yeah. That's not how the real Zeus is.
the real fake one.
We all know that.
That's
stuff,
not
yeah.
Jupiter. Come on. I saw him the other day.
All right, Matt,
That's not
Matt.
Quetzalcoatl or whatever the
Yeah,
Quetzalcoatl.
that'll be in,
What's it?
that'll be in
Quetzalcoatl?
Black
I don't know.
Panther or something. I'm sure.
Xochitl Gomez or whatever those.
Oh.
What?
Wait, what's that god's name?
Quetzalcoatl Gomez. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Boy, we have crossed all lines for this
Okay.
expert today.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to
Matt, what thoughts?
Yeah, so
Stuff you
you know,
like?
like I said before, it's like if I'm viewing the movie as like all these little like, you know, like what do you call them on YouTube, like the TikTok videos that
Yeah,
pop
like
up,
the-
you know, and you
oh,
just
shorts.
going through them.
The shorts.
Short,
yeah.
like,
there's
why
so
not
Did you
many
say
Yeah.
things.
snorts?
It's like a
Vignettes.
Shorts.
Come
It's like
on.
a
They've all
Snort
got-
of cocaine?
like a
Like, they all
compendium
hit
of
that-
vines.
They all hit that, you know, what is it? Is it dopamine, whatever? They all
Yeah.
are like, you know, they're
Sure.
firing off.
Yeah.
Like at the end when he gave the power to the kids and they're like launching off and
Yeah,
That was cool.
you know,
yeah.
and,
That was
and
cool
taking
stuff.
off, and you got like the November Rain, you know,
Yeah.
Slash
Mhm.
solo playing. That was like really cool. There's a lot of little scenes like that that are
Mm.
they're just really funny. And
Vignettes.
you know, they're if you remove yourself, you know, I mean,
But
if you
then-
remove yourself
but
and
then if
realize
you
that
Think
that-
about
that,
those
that
things.
Marvel's not
Yeah.
destroying,
No context. Yeah.
you know, like destroying all that came before it. You don't think about that. Like it's really funny, you know, and you can just take every single one of those things. I agree. Russell Crowe was not expected, and I like that a lot.
yeah.
You know, and I honestly like in the moment I laughed at the Stormbreaker, you know, and stuff
liked
like
it.
that.
I mean,
It was humorous.
He probably didn't need to
Um,
pour a beer on it.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, that
definitely
was,
felt-
Because
that
he's
part was stupid.
It makes him look stupid, and he's not stupid.
No, he cares
Um,
about Stormbreaker. Come
That's
on.
stupid.
I did.
That's
I did
stupid.
really think that the visuals in certain parts were strong, especially the black and white. That was
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the best. I think the rest
Mhm.
of it looks like it's made for 3D. Have you guys noticed that?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
happening
I
more.
Well,
can
it's
see it.
shot on the volume, so.
Oh, really?
Well, did you?
I don't know
I
that.
don't know if you guys noticed this.
Oh, I
but
didn't know
with
that.
Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness,
It looked
it
real.
also looked. It reminded me of like what is it? 6-7 years ago when everything, or was it
Was
10 years
3D.
ago?
Well,
15?
Raimi said they
Whatever.
purposely shot that for with 3D in mind.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, I've noticed everything's pushing it to prepare for Avatar.
Yes,
Yep, totally,
correct.
And
100%.
in our theaters, our IMAX
Yeah,
theater is now
yep,
got showing
Yeah.
3D now,
Yep.
and
Ours is
I
too.
think that when you're watching it in 2D or whatever, it's cheaper looking. It's just my opinion.
Might be the volume.
Anyway, I know we're in positive, so that's I'll let Rhett go.
It's hard to stay in the positive.
It is.
I don't know if
Because
we're-
all the positives have a caveat. Like this was cool, but
I like
mean
that teddy bear
that's the
scene,
problem
but-
with it. But
Well,
yeah,
well, notice that Red attacked all of our positives.
I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Just to let
did.
you guys know.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been holding.
I can
myself
like Zeus.
back
I
from
can
doing
like
that as
Zeus.
well.
You can. I mean,
All right, Brett, go ahead. What's your positive?
well, let me think. Whew. No.
Not that.
No,
not
I
that.
liked the I liked the Shadow Planet with the spot color. I was really I thought that looked great. The effects that Gore used kind of.
Hey!
Oh my gosh, there's David. The effects of the sword, you know how the sword would just kind of come up out of the
Yes.
ground into his hand.
love
I thought
that.
it was a sharp out of the shadows, like you
Yes.
couldn't tell where he
I
ended
love
and the
use
shadow
of shadows
began.
as well.
Yeah,
the bike shadows and
yeah,
New Asgard.
that was great stuff. I liked that. And out of context, I love the scene with the kids where he
Yes. Out of
empowers
context.
when he empowers them. It's a great moment. The soundtrack is great throughout.
Yes.
The score is good.
Yeah.
Yes. When are we going to get to it?
Yeah. But right. Yeah. And we'll talk about that context, the context of that scene later. But it looks good. It looks great. I thought that some of the Jane Thor stuff was okay. None of it. There were only one or two moments that I'll talk about later that kind of like hit me in the face. I'm like, this is dumb. But yeah, there were a couple of positives, and I get why people might like it. I get there. It is goofy and funny, and if you just want to go without the context of the greater thing, then it's great. If I prefer the Russo brothers approach to the MCU instead of the Taika Waititi approach.
And even they did Thor silly at times, but he wasn't like dumb.
Yeah, but the part in Endgame where he's silly and kind of a doofus, he's massive PTSD.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't
Right.
that at the beginning of the movie. He was broken in that 5 years. You know, that's why he's goofy. It's justified there, but that's not the goofiness that we saw in this movie. If it had been some extension of his emotional state and driving him, but
I think that's what they were trying to get at.
But they didn't reference it at all. Like it's not.
They framed it as it was a broken heart, like from
right
James
instead
from
of that
18
he is.
movies ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
they
he's
went.
had-
They
yeah,
went
which he's had
goofy.
forever.
Yeah.
Why don't we get Dave's?
Also,
Yeah,
he's 1,500 years old.
Yeah.
This is like a weekend.
Before we get to Dave, I already said like Gore the God Butcher is probably my favorite part of the movie, but also I thought that there were some aspects here and there that Jane and Valkyrie were pretty good buddy cop thing together. There were some moments that I thought that they had some, and they needed that because there was a lot of Thor going on, which is his movie, but I thought Valkyrie and Jane worked pretty well together. So Dave, overall thoughts, like enjoyment of the film, not enjoyment, and then like some of your favorite stuff.
This is the best Marvel movie since Captain America: First Avenger. Let's be honest.
Stop it. Stop it.
This movie is
Mute him.
spectacular in every way. The writing is bar none.
Bar none.
The performances, honestly, if I don't see Chris Hemsworth for Best Actor, then I'm never watching the Oscar.
Yes.
Yeah. So this movie, I enjoyed this movie, but that doesn't mean this movie is a good movie. It's not. This for me is a meanwhile movie. As in, like, everything's happening in the Marvel Universe and Phase 4, everything. But meanwhile, over here, look and see what Thor's doing.
Interesting.
I don't know that anything that happens in Love and Thunder is going to have any resonance in the Marvel Universe. Maybe
it's like a standalone film, basically.
Hercules.
I think what worked in Ragnarok, what made Ragnarok so refreshing and so different from the first two movies, which honestly usually rank on the lower bottom of most people's Marvel tier, worked. I mean, I like it too, but that's not what I'd go back and rewatch. Ragnarok was so great. Taika's take on it was great. They tried it again here, and to me, it just didn't work. Like they tried so hard to redo Ragnarok,
cranked up all the,
and it did not work.
Yeah.
Too much Korg, way too much.
Yes. And by the way,
Wait till-
retconning some of Korg's past, but we'll get to that later.
Rhett said this, and again, I don't know what's been said already in the however long you guys, hour and a half you guys have talked about it since I got here, but freaking Christian Bale's in a different movie. Like we're watching, we're watching the Green Lantern and Hannibal Lecter in the same frame. Like we're watching, like
pretty good analogy.
As Van Wilder making the crack on the jokes, and freaking Sir Anthony Hopkins and his Oscar-winning.
Van Wilder's a good movie though.
Green Lantern has Taika, by the way. Let's not forget that.
Honestly, and this is one of those, like, I liked it. I mean, I did. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not one that I'll go back to a lot. It's an amusing story, but I kind of feel like and maybe we're going to get to this later on, but it just leaves me wondering where the heck Marvel is even going right now. I don't know what they're doing right now. I don't know. I don't know.
That is the question.
Well, they've got Black
weekend.
Panther coming. Yeah,
next weekend.
Right. And so anyway,
there's a lot at San Diego Comic-Con that's going to be announced.
I think there's a lot to like. I think that it's funny and it's quirky and everything. I like Natalie Portman, even though she's not a comedic actress. Everything that she did on screen, she was carried. Like somebody else had to land her jokes, or she had to be set up or whatever. She was
hilarious in Leon.
You know, and Beautiful Girls. And at the end of this movie, I really expected her to go, Luke, Leia. You know, as she lie there, I'm assuming this is we're spoilerific because.
Oh yeah,
as she lies there,
for Revenge of the Sith.
That would have been great, Luke. Leia. Who are those people? Who should I find? But then you cut over here and you got Christian Bale dying in the water as his skin turns to normal tone. Now that the evil has left him, he's over there giving this Oscar-winning death scene, and Natalie Portman's like, "I'm dying
of a broken heart."
She died better than me, Skywalker.
It's like I changed channels.
She had big muscles.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take. It's a
listen, David just talked about this Phase 4 not having any idea what's going on. Let me read a couple of stats. Phase 1 had 6 films, 12.4 hours.
Yeah.
Phase 2, 6, 12.7 hours. Phase 3, 11, nearly 25 hours. Phase 4, so far, and we're halfway through it, 6 films, 7 TV shows, 50 hours.
Yes.
Okay? And we don't know what it's about.
Rhett, this is the first phase that we had Marvel Studios show.
I know it's a wait. I know it's a little bit of a. I know, but it's still that's how they're telling this story, though. They're using those to tell this story, and we don't know where it is, and it just feels like it's in this.
Welcome to
spinning their wheels. I know they just want content. We must have product, and that's what we.
It's the way it works.
I think they're burning through the credibility.
Big events.
Yes. They're burning through the goodwill that they had coming out of Endgame, and they're burning through it pretty rapidly.
Well, because Marvel to me could do no wrong, even after the first couple of series that came out and everything. But now to the point where I haven't watched a second of Ms. Marvel. I've only seen part of Moon Knight, and I don't care. I'll watch some of She-Hulk, but if it doesn't grab me at the beginning, I'm gonna be like, You know, and like I felt like I needed to see everything, and now I'm just like, okay, I'll just wait for the big bad to show up. And I don't know who the heroes are, because before we had the big trio of Thor, Cap, and Iron Man with all the supporting characters. I don't know who the big ones are now. I have no idea.
Well, I think
what even big bad we're leading to. There's no Thanos on the horizon, and so it's just
Well, yeah,
we don't know what we're doing.
Kang, right? Kang's
I was about to say,
maybe
on the horizon. I think Kang is so Kang's going to be the villain of Quantumania, and he's going to be the villain of Loki season 2.
Are we headed to Secret Wars? Is that kind of the direction we're going?
Yeah, it's basically what they're going to is Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
Maybe half of these people are
people say that, and I don't know what it means.
Can I give you my theory? Can I give you my theory? Okay, so here's my theory. This is why this is so. There's such a cognitive dissonance with Phase 4 versus what happened before.
Mm-hmm.
The traditional story is a world is set up, a person, a character, a hero goes from point A to point B, and they change. All the newest movies, the characters, they don't change. They stay the same, but the world is constantly being overturned, constantly being shifted. There's constant multiverses. There's nothing that's permanent, nothing that's true. There's every option to do everything in the world, and it's like there's nothing grounding it anymore.
And that's exactly on that point. I talk about what is it like to be a commoner, a normal citizen in the MCU today, right?
Moon Knight.
You're like, hey,
Marvel.
Hey, how's your family doing? Well, when my wife saw the two gods fighting on our trip to Egypt, it undermined her faith in God, and she killed herself. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. My friend killed himself when he looked outside, and there was a gigantic celestial staring down at the planet, and he felt so insignificant he could not continue to live. He killed himself as well.
But I've talked to Dr. Strange. I found my version of my wife in 4 different Earths. I'm picking out which one I like best and bringing her here.
And I'm gonna
All right, Rife, please bring us back a little bit.
I agree with the point that some of these projects, and probably most of them so far, don't have a character changing or going on that journey and changing. I do think that there are some that do, and people could disagree with me. I think No Way Home absolutely does. Obviously,
it's good.
I do think also a Sony and Marvel.
Yeah, I do think Multiverse of Madness has Doctor Strange change at the end. I don't really know why he had to, but he did. Yeah. I think Shang-Chi is the strongest, if we're not going to count.
I enjoyed it the most.
I think he goes through a big change throughout that film and accepting his identity. And so, but other than that, and the Loki show, I really enjoyed, and I think but that's just a rush. We have to get him back to being a good character again.
I keep forgetting Shang-Chi is part of the MCU.
Well, they need to fast track Shang-Chi too. I mean, they don't need to rest on their laurels with that character. I mean,
so they can get to the part 3 and call it Shang 3.
Yeah.
Yes,
but that'll be after Black Widow too. So
no.
I'd take a Yelena movie. I could watch Yelena.
I could watch an Yelena movie. I like that character.
I think Roth and I know a certain Instagram post that's really nice.
Awesome. No.
Is that is it the pink one?
No.
Yeah, I know what we're. I've been there.
Stop it, all of you. Stop it.
I've been there.
I'm not complaining.
You silly millennials.
I'm not a millennial.
What are you?
I am.
Millennial
I'm a grown ass. Hey, I'm a grown ass man. I liked it too.
I'm a Zoomer.
I am a millennial.
I'm Gen Z.
Instagram.com.
Instagram.com.
Don't read the caption.
www.
Yeah, the caption does not matter.
Looking for the camera.
Instagram.geocities.com.
Check out my Angel. I've got a fanzine I run on Angel Fire.
Mine's on Live Journal. I got you.
Oh my God. Okay, Roth and Earl, we haven't heard from you guys in a minute. Anything to add?
Wait, are we going to the bad stuff? That stuff we didn't like?
I mean,
we talked about what we liked, right?
I have something that I don't know how controversial it is or not, but
go on, do it.
I think Chris Hemsworth has been a really, really good actor in these movies. I thought in this one, I thought it felt like he was just mailing it in and was not putting much effort in. I don't know if it's because he's been doing this for 15 years or that's the character he was trying to play.
Well, the character wasn't challenged. The first 15 minutes of Endgame, he's great. He's great. You see the pain on him, and even the silly parts of Endgame, like there's pain coming through all of that, and he's just goofy in this one. He didn't have anything to work with.
Yeah, when he's crying in Dark World, when they've gone back in time in that palace, and what's his name's got to slap him, Rocket's got to slap him, and
I mean, and you would think you've got like the woman that he loved has cancer. You're supposed to.
By the way, stage 4 cancer, nothing else. Stage 4 cancer.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way, in the comics, it's breast cancer, but
okay. I don't know.
Just the
probably because she's been
that would denote gender, and we're kind of past.
Oh my word.
We are. But
have we talked
world.
about the ridiculousness of making Stormbreaker and Mjolnir have feelings?
Yeah,
Wait,
I
no,
said
no, no.
people, they love it. These doofuses love it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, I like it.
I have no problem with the issue with the whole thing itself. I have a problem with bringing this into this movie when it's something that was not addressed in any of the previous movies.
Yeah.
That these particular items have feelings, and now you write that into this to further the story you want to tell. No, you can't do that.
Stormbreaker did not float around and give its opinions to Thor prior to this.
This is like Superman 2, where Superman suddenly has all these powers at the very end of it.
No, Superman 2 is a brilliant film. You stop.
Suddenly he's like,
Richard Lester is a great man.
Not as good as 4, but it's
Richard Lester is a brilliant man.
Good.
Yes. Well, that's what it is. It's like all of a sudden, I need him to do these things. So now he has extra powers.
Didn't tell anyone, but
so I don't like how they did that. I mean,
I'm going to really bear down on that when we get to the negatives. If Michael will ever let us get there.
Same for the story. It's for jokes more than anything else.
Dave, okay. Well, if we're going to get to things that totally break things, okay. So the kids scene, funny. Right. Okay. I like the doll. It's funny.
But not a power of Thor.
But if we're going to set something like that up, Thor has never been able to just transfer his power momentarily to other people. If we're going to set something like that up, we need to set that up earlier in the film where he goes, "Oh, this is a new power I've discovered. Yeah, I could use this to help myself out in battle." Because we don't get that set up, now I start going, "Why an Endgame?
Why didn't he do it?
And an Infinity War when they're defending the entire universe. Galaxy."
Yeah, why not do that? If that's so easy that you can just kind of wave your fingers at somebody and now, temporarily, I'll give you 30 minutes and do that. Hey, do that for the entirety of everyone.
Do that for Wakanda
and take Thanos on. Why?
I could even buy that for that one scene where he does this and all of a sudden does.
Well, it looks cool.
Whatever, it looks cool. It's fine for that one scene. I get it. We're talking about the entire movie. We're having a relationship with an axe and a hammer that, again, is only driven for jokes. That's
Dave,
it.
Correct. Yeah,
I can't take it for that one scene because it breaks my brain. I'm sorry.
So it doesn't make any sense. And it's like he's not there.
That beer business, pouring the drink on it is stupid, and it serves no purpose in the narrative other than those throwaway jokes, and that is stupid.
Bad writing. It's bad writing.
Garbage writing.
It sets up the goats dragging the ship along.
Well,
that's true. You can do that.
Well, you can say that it has that power. I get that. That's fine, but it shouldn't have an attitude about it.
Right. No, they use the boat because it's got the attitude. And it needs
Infinity War set up that the axe has the power of the Bifrost, so we do already know all that anyway. But
but what about the research that Jane notices in Gore's little tent that had freaking Stormbreaker in it, which didn't exist?
A few.
Yeah, I mean that's
Stormbreaker was a myth. It was a myth in Infinity War. They talked about it. It was a thing that could possibly have the power of the Bifrost, and it was like a long myth with Eitre's people or whatever. And so
just make it.
I buy that as like
I mean, that makes more sense than I was putting through.
Yeah, I mean, sure, we'll go with that.
I don't remember that very well.
Cut from this movie.
Better than nothing.
Peter Dinklage was supposed to have a role.
Yeah, that's right. Peter Dinklage,
Jeff
Lena
Goldblum.
Headey.
They were all supposed to be killed by Thor the God Butcher, right? Gore
wasn't Ezra Miller a Star Wars, and they had to cut him out?
Ezra Miller.
What?
I have no idea.
Did you not see that today that supposlly Elliot Page is going to be recast as the new Flash?
No, though that's like parody satire.
That's a weirdo.
It's not a parody, but
that's a sicko.
Really? You saw the no.
Yeah,
it's a weirdo fan cast thing. Trust me. I'm a Flash aficionado.
I heard DC was actually and Warner they're actually doubling down on it. They've got so much money in it that they are cutting Michael Keaton from the movie, replacing him with more Ezra Miller.
They're giving Ezra Miller the cowl.
They're giving him the cowl.
It's actually
just say go around the country, Ezra.
It's going to be Ezra Miller and the people he kidnapped.
The show on the road.
Look at all these Robins. Look at all these Robins I brought.
And it will be a documentary, not a narrative.
This is not a cult.
He's fighting this random drunk guy that breaks into people's houses in Hawaii.
throws a chair at them and gashes their face. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're just using this movie. It's actually just a found-footage movie now.
It's going to start with that scene at the beginning of the pandemic. With
Look
him
what you've
choking
done,
that
Been
man.
choking a lady.
Bring
Man,
it
I
up,
gotta
Ezra
fix
Miller.
This.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh boy.
So anyway, it's a great
Sorry.
movie.
I know that was a sacred cow. I'm sorry. For
Best
bringing
since first
Ezra up.
Avenger, and yeah.
Somebody mentioned that they liked the score. Was that you, Rhett?
Yeah, I love the score. It's great. You
know,
mentioned it
actually-
while we were there over the end credits, where you usually
end
get a
credits
suite.
were awesome.
Yeah, usually it's a suite, but I think that was like I don't remember that from the movie. It was grand and
Yeah.
just wonderful.
It wasn't
No,
a sweet. It was
like
an
that
awesome.
in the movie too.
I don't
Does a great
remember
job
that though.
with the
I don't
score.
rem- that
It wasn't during the movie though, was it?
I don't.
It
That
was-
last song.
I
that
don't
was
remember it. Yeah,
during
that
the
whatever was
credits,
played
I
over
don't
the end
remember-
credits was fantastic.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have no idea.
You
But-
mean during the animated part
Disgusting.
of the credits?
No, just the peak.
No,
Just while the
just
credits
the-
roll, it's just the music. It's just Giacchino's score. It was just
It's
great.
right after the. It's right after the first.
Uh-oh.
No, the first after the
Controversy
first
in
scene was
crazy.
Dio
Controversy
Rainbow
in the
Dark,
chat.
Okay.
because that was my
Whoa.
favorite part of the entire movie.
Oh my
Nate's-
gosh! Yeah, that was the
Nate's
thing
just-
that kind of kept bringing me back to it.
Nate's from Australia. He's just mad that NXS wasn't there.
Yeah, oh, you're right. Yeah.
Oh man, I would have
Yeah.
loved some
Oh, man.
NXS. I would
NXS.
have loved some NXS, man.
I'm actually surprised they didn't use it.
Yeah, I don't think they. I don't think that scene with the kids works as good with Mediate playing in the background.
It's a great song though.
It is, but I don't think it suits. I don't think it fits the
doesn't
mood.
work, though. No, it doesn't.
Mediate.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I think overall it's certainly a mixed bag. No, did anybody even enjoy themselves watching the movie?
I enjoyed
I did.
myself.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
liked
enjoyed
it.
I
myself watching the movie.
laughed
I
at
mean,
times.
I had some
Okay.
emotional feelings the second time.
I did not.
See, the only
I
emotion
know.
that I had was
I
for
think
the
Chris
Gore character.
Hemsworth did
Mhm.
fine in some of his acting there, but
I thought Hemsworth was fine. Yeah. I don't know.
and same
Yeah,
for
because
Natalie.
he was kind of like told just to be dumb. So yeah, that's
I
kind
thought
of
Natalie
Yeah.
Portman was awful.
Yeah.
By the way,
Oh,
that,
you thought
that
she was
scene
awful.
where
Yeah.
her and
Awful.
Thor
She had
like,
moments. she had
talking in
moments.
Omnipotent City about like the catchphrases and stuff. I thought that was one of the
Oh,
worst
yeah,
scenes
she's
I've ever seen in
clunky.
my entire life.
Well, she's clunky.
Ever
In
seen
her
in your entire
defense,
life?
She's
in her
supposed to be
defense,
playing the
the
doctor
character
who's-
is clunky.
That was
Yeah.
the thing.
She's kind of
She was
she's
playing that.
klutzy. She's
Yes.
goofy.
She's nerdy.
She's
Yeah.
a nerd. Yeah, she's not
Dork.
good at
That's
any of this.
Actually, yeah.
You know. Now the fact that she could fight pretty
Uh,
good, even though he had
Aussie
1,500.
Nate loves it.
Look, we
He
need to get
loves
Ozzy
it.
Nate on to represent.
No, don't
the people
do
who
not
like this
hear it.
movie.
Australia.
Do
Also-
not fight an Australian.
I can imagine
Right, exactly.
somebody
Aussie.
in that writer's room was for merchandising and saying we have to have a catchphrase from this movie. We got to have something to put on T-shirts. We got to have something, whatever. And they went around the room and came up with "Eat My Hammer." That's how they came up.
No,
with it.
actually,
Somebody-
they ain't
no.
going to make that. They
Tyga
ain't going to make
actually
a
said,
t-shirt.
"I'm not going
No.
to give her a catchphrase, and she's going to whisper it into Thor's ear."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
what
that
about
was
the
tough.
catchphrase where he said "Lady Thor"? And he's like, "It's like, you mean Mighty Thor?"
Mighty
That's never
Or
been said
Dr.
in the entire
Jane
movie.
Foster.
Well, listen, that whole concept, and I know that
never
some of that
said.
comes
from that.
some of that comes from the comics too, but
Yes.
this
Mhm.
idea
Sure.
that her
But how- what-
that Thor is a title instead of a name is silly
Yeah.
to me. I
No.
don't.
The
It doesn't
writing
fit.
over it made no
That kind of
sense.
came with the first
Yeah.
film, though, when they did that whole "whoever holds the hammer shall
Has
be
the
Thor."
power of
Mhm.
Thor.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, but that's
Yeah.
like. But he had that power. Remember, he's not
But
a god
that's
of
his
hammers. He's not a god of hammers.
He's,
He's
a god
got
of thunder.
so thunder. So, never mind. Oh, let me tell you. Oh yeah, no, I did have it. Oh, one of the scenes, but you're talking about the interaction between Thor and Portman. There was a
Yeah.
Jane. Yeah, there's a throwaway line in there that they kind of give each other a little knowing, awkward look to, and it's about you never forget your first. And it was out of in
But bad guys.
context.
Bad guys.
In context, they were talking about something else, but they exchanged looks. But the joke was that Thor is 1,500 years old and the heir to Asgard. Okay,
You haven't heard about the prequel,
Dude
1500-year-old
was
virgin?
getting some tail. That is a
It was
fact.
Sith too.
Well, it
Come
shows
on,
him
it had
during
to
the
have been Sith.
the
And I thought
prologue.
that was stupid. That it reminded me of that idiocy from the prologue. Like that was
It
that
showed
was
him
in
kissing
his- in
women
this-
and doing all
yeah,
that
but that
stuff in
was,
the opening.
that was after he was with with Jane from previous movies or whatever.
I think it was before.
I think it was
because he
before.
says, and then he
Well,
met
maybe.
Jane.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, yeah. Well, so it's dumb.
So it makes no
So that's
sense.
another one of those things where,
Rhett,
like in
Nate's right.
Spider-Man.
First
I know.
love.
That's not what it.
First
That ain't
love.
what. That ain't the joke.
First
No,
love.
that ain't the joke.
I know, right?
Okay?
I know, right?
First
I know.
love,
And it reminded me of in Doctor Strange where that he cast that spell where Bruce Campbell beats himself silly for 3 weeks.
Yes.
It's a funny line. It's a funny line. He's dead. He would have died. And
He's
He's suffered some brain trauma. He's
He'd be
fine.
pretty beat up.
Yeah, so it's
don't
just
understand medicine in
they
that
don't
world.
have care. They don't take care with that kind of stuff. They just go for the joke and everything else be damned. And I'm tired of that. I don't like it. And I know dummies who go to the movies because they just to stuff their faces with pretzels and hot dogs and chicken and waffles and whatever it is, that they love that crap. And they're like, well, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Then they go back to their miserable lives and their stupid families. But I have higher standards than that.
Yeah,
and I'm tired of it.
Okay, speaking of jokes that don't make sense, infinity cones.
Yeah,
Okay, like
that was funny.
There is
The logo, the logo.
There's never been
was
another
whatever on
more devastating event that has killed and ravaged the world more. It's like expecting like Jews to have a
yeah.
Wow.
He does. Oh my gosh! Let's close the falafel stand and put a borscht stand here.
I mean, it's like there's no consideration of the depth of, like,
Try
it's
my
just
Twin
like, how
Towers
horrible
pretzels.
that
Do a
event
joke.
was.
Let's make a joke here, guys.
It's the dumbest. It's the good. No.
I missed the joke. What just happened?
I missed it too.
Did you
Who
just fall
said
down?
that?
I said
Did he die?
Auschwitz pizza.
Right, Finn. Right, Finn.
No.
You know better than that. I'm going to tell your father you said
I'm
that.
out. Wow, that's a hot mic you got there.
No.
We don't do that.
Just for the audience, I came in late. I did not understand what was going on earlier to the show.
No, we can't release this episode, Dave. I know why
Lord.
he did that. We can't release this on the podcast feed.
Oh,
My
Going
Lord.
on
I'm just trying to
WGIG.
make a parable, a comparison.
No.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a joke.
hashtag YouTube.
This reminds me of a joke. Yeah.
Carry on. I need a minute.
You don't need to do the joke. And that was the last they heard of any of these people.
And oddly, we'll probably get more
Good
views
one, Nate.
now.
Hey, I think that it reminded me of the Imperial March source music from Solo.
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of. It's this in-universe reference to some out-of-the-universe thing, and it's stupid.
Yeah. No,
Well,
that's
and how many
exactly-
times are we going to have some like major galactic fix but easy button like the eternity thing? I mean, like, wouldn't that have been really a great way to restore
Fix a lot of
Well,
things.
here, another thing on Eternity. Look, there's a great shot. My favorite shot in the movie is the girl is resurrected. She's walking toward whatever, and you see her reflection, and it is the eternity in the reflection, that star field, and then you pan up, and it transitions to real, and that's beautiful shot. Freaking loved it. I mean, like, that moved me. The one moment in the movie that moved me was that shot. And then, and I thought that kid was fine. I kind of liked the bit at the end with Dad Thor.
Yeah, that's
I know.
Hemsworth's daughter.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, I like the Dad Thor angle, and
That's when the dead body.
I think
That's
that's an
right.
interesting setup, actually.
yeah.
The love and thunder.
I mean, a lone wolf and cub type thing in with Thor. I mean, that seems wild to me. I'm interested in that movie as long as Taika Waititi is nowhere near it.
Yeah, the problem is everything that came before it, I just didn't care about.
The problem is Taika.
Right.
Taika is coming back for a third Thor movie. That's what the problem.
Well, we'll be fighting
Give John Favreau that movie.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's what I want to see. That's
here's
better.
the problem though with the Thor 5. You've taken such a shift from Dark World to Ragnarok, and now you got Ragnarok and this movie with the same tone. Can you take another completely different shift with a different director and put him in a different toned movie? I mean,
I think at this point the character's so far gone. You're right, Dave. I mean, the character's so far gone at this point.
He's been so TD'd. I think he's done.
I saw a meme. It said Thor 1 and 2, and it was a picture of Willem Dafoe in Lighthouse, and then it said Thor 3 and 4, and it was a picture of him in The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
The little hat.
Yeah. The little sailor outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. They might as well do a Thor 5 and let's just let Taika get it out of his system and then never see him again in the MCU.
Yeah, well, direct to video.
The dumbest I've seen Thor is in that What If episode where
they Party Thor.
Where he's
Party Thor.
Yeah, and that's just so stupid where he's fighting
episode of that show.
I don't watch cartoons.
Marvel. Yeah, so glad. So if you want to see him like really dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Animated series.
Oh, that's an animated series, but What If isn't?
That's cartoon.
Clone Wars isn't.
That's cartoon.
There's another thing that's like really I find interesting between Doctor Strange, and then here is that like there's no like power rules anymore. Like there's not like anything feasible as far as like who's more powerful than the other. It's just like whoever the writer decides, because like Scarlet Witch was like,
I was about to say,
and like Marvel, whatever, they're fighting each other. And there's like no rules. And then in this one, you've got Valkyrie just grabbing Zeus's lightning bolt and wielding it. Like
they just have any power they want.
Which looked terrible, by the way. It looked like a piece of metal from Hobby Lobby.
Ooh, that prop was terrible.
It looked awful.
Well, that was part of the joke, I guess, but it's all a joke.
Well, but not if you. Yeah, well, right. It is part of the joke, and it's a bad joke. It undermines the whole thing. It lacks gravitas.
Phase 1 and 2 and 3, you had your grounded characters, your Earth relatable characters, and now we're getting into what DC does. Is they've got the celestial characters that are all like full of gods and beings and spirits and whatever. Yeah. And like, I don't know how that's going to play, honestly, in the future.
Well, you had to
people love Marvel because they're Earth characters that have powers versus something from another.
Well, when you get it like
and whatever.
Yeah, so Zeus and all this pantheon of gods, like if those are real, like I understand, like Asgard, you explain that away by like, okay, they're aliens, they visited here.
That's how they did it at first.
Yeah. Right. But now, but if they have an afterlife. And the Egyptian gods have an afterlife, and the Wakandan gods have an afterlife.
Well,
it loses its grounding. It takes me out of it.
You mean in the future? It hasn't lost it already?
Well, it has. That's that's part of this. That's part of it. That takes me out of it, and I don't like that. It's not well conceived.
Have you seen Eternals? Quick serious question.
Unfortunately,
in that film, they reference that they are kind of the other gods that everyone believes. Athena is Thena, and
right.
So I think it's funny that we're also
that doesn't fit with this.
Well, it doesn't. Well, but also, let me establish also that is directly from the Eternals comic, and in the Marvel comics, they've introduced all those other gods as well. So
right, I know, but the thing, but I know, but
it is keeping with the brand.
But the things that work in the comics over decades and decades of gobbledygook continuity and I mean, like Silver Age doesn't work on camera today, right? You can't do those kinds of things. It looks silly. Donald Blake being a skinny little doctor who turns into Thor. We didn't do that Clark because Kent. It was something stupid from the comics.
It was Clark Kent.
Right, yeah. And so they didn't do that, so they don't have to do this. But they did it anyway, and it undermines the grounded story that they started with Iron Man. Yeah. When you lost Iron Man and you lost even Natasha and you lost Captain America to somewhat of a lesser extent, I guess, you lost the grounding to things that we recognize. And this cosmic nonsense takes me out of it. And I understand it's a component of it, and we have to be there, and there are stories to tell, but it doesn't mix well when you come back to Earth with our grounded heroes. And it takes me out of it, and I think it's undermining it, and I think it makes the storytelling have to get crazier and crazier.
Yeah,
and that perpetuates the problem.
It makes me care less about what's going to be happening with Kingpin.
Well,
I mean,
right. Like this guy can be literally just if there are hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of characters who can eliminate him with a thought. You are not none of you are threats.
The thing that they need to be focusing on is upping the emotional stakes and not the cosmic stakes as much.
Yep.
They also need to slow down too. Because what happened?
Well, they can't slow down. It's
They
gotta
can't slow
have
down.
product.
Yeah.
Product.
Well, for me
give me
personally,
There's
product.
an alternative for everything. Like there's an alternative. There's a Matt with hair. You know, there's a Matt without glasses. There's a Matt with a no beard. There's a Matt with a scar on his face. When there's
the
when there's a
multiverse.
multiverse of every option,
Yeah.
there is none because
You know what broke it? Streaming broke it, and here's why. When you have to release movies, there are a limited number of release dates you have that work because a lot of other studios are releasing movies. So you can't cannibalize your own movies. So you can only do a couple a year.
And with
streaming, you must have constant content.
Yes,
you must to keep your subscribers on the hook, and that hurts the storytelling. It hurts the continuity. It hurts the bigger picture, and that's I understand that's the nature of things now, and that's what we have to live with. That doesn't make it good. It doesn't mean I can't lament that and wish we had a better way.
Well, for me, I
have like a Seinfeld style thing where nothing changes. I mean, I'm not to be Seinfeld. I'm just giving an example of a show where the characters are walking through the world and the world doesn't constantly get upturned the way it does now. You know, like why can't there just be like a things happen and the world doesn't change?
Well, people would talk about how boring that is and nothing. There was no. I mean, right? We think. I mean, I think that too. I always thought that about Star Wars. Like, what if you just gave me different genres of movies in Star Wars? Give me a courtroom drama. Give me a buddy cop movie. What can you do in this existing universe? But then I started thinking about that, and some of the crap we've gotten out of Star Wars makes me think that was a terrible idea ultimately. But Marvel used to do Marvel did a pretty good job of it early.
They did.
They had thrillers. They had
different genres.
Winter Soldier was a political thriller. You had your cosmic movies. You had your silly ones. You had your straight action movies. They kind of change genres a little bit now. Even they're doing it a little now. You had a kung fu movie with Shang-Chi.
Yes,
we're gonna have a courtroom drama
with the Jackie Chan stunt.
Well, we get She-Hulk, I guess, courtroom drama, right?
Comedy.
Yeah,
I think for me, what happened with me with Star Wars, not just because of Rise of Skywalker, but also I got too much too fast for me. Like for me, like the anticipation means something to me. I want to wait for it. I don't want to wait, but I do want to wait because when it gets there, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Going from Rogue One, which I thought was spectacular, to Solo 6 months later, then another Star. It was like whatever.
Yeah.
With Marvel, for 10 years, you were waiting 6 months, a year and a half for another film to come out to tell the story, to further the story. Oh, this one led to that one, led to this one, led to that one, led to that one. And it was this great storytelling device that kept me going back. And suddenly I was waiting for the next two films, and then whatever. And I understand with COVID, they got backed up. So we're firing the movies out faster to get them out. And I understand
not really, though. They're still, as far as theatrical, it's still about
one, we're caught up. And two, are they floundering so much now that we're losing the stingers? Do the stingers mean anything anymore? Is Adam Warlock actually even coming at this time?
Oh, yeah, he is. Yep.
Do we have Hercules coming at all? Will that happen?
Hercules will happen. Yeah.
What about Harry Styles? So much so fast.
What about Harry Styles? I was about to say, what about Harry Styles?
I spent a year excited for WandaVision and then Falcon Winter Soldier and then eventually Loki and whatever. And now I'm like, Marvel started and I'm like, oh, was it that time already? I didn't even know it started.
Yeah, you haven't even finished Moon Knight,
I haven't been keeping up because I haven't cared. I haven't it's
those stingers used to lead into the next movie or maybe the next one. Now
sometimes
Hercules is who knows? Star Fox is 10 movies away. I mean, when are you going to get to Star Fox? And why would you? Also,
that's gonna when Star Fox uses his power to. It's gonna be really.
You don't get to do that anymore. Yeah.
Wait, what is Star Fox's power? I don't know.
He seduces people, right?
Oh, he can get people to do whatever.
You've seen that episode of is it episodes where Ricky Gervais is talking to Patrick Stewart about the screenplay Patrick Stewart's working on. He's like, and he has the power to make women disrobe instantly. Yeah, extras. Yeah.
Their clothes come off.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've seen everything. Yeah, that's a great bit.
That's Star Fox. Okay. All right.
Well, Star Fox in the comics, I believe, actually in modern comics has gotten hit with like rape lawsuits and stuff like that.
Oh, that'll be fun for the MCU, won't it?
Hey, and
comic,
She-Hulk
they've
will
done
defend
that?
him. She-Hulk can defend him.
No, She-Hulk went after him in the comics. That's what happened.
Okay, well, there you go. And then Matt Murdock will defend him.
Well, yeah. Well, who's the public defender?
Oh, I would definitely go for a Micronauts.
I don't-
bro.
No,
Do
they
they
don't
have
have the rights
Micronauts
to
film
it.
rights?
No, Hasbro
I don't
does,
think they do.
Yeah, I don't think
Hasbro
they do.
does.
Yeah, that's
Somehow.
a whole. They want Hasbro wants that
Microverse
to be part of the GI Joe, Transformers, Micronauts, ROM.
Mass.
He's
Who is
going for the
talking right
Zeus.
now? Who is talking?
Yeah. Do a bad Green
That would be
accent, come on.
ideal. That would be ideal.
Silver
Okay.
Hawks.
You are uninvited to the orgy.
Okay. The
Get that
orgy
drop.
joke. Okay. Why did he have to say it 3 times?
I
We knew
know.
the subject that he was saying it about, and then he just
Because it's
continued
so
to repeat
funny.
it sentence
It's
after
so
sentence.
funny.
And by the
He's
third time, I
taking
was
the
like,
Family
dude,
Guy.
you just say you're uninvited. You don't say you're uninvited to the orgy after you just said orgy.
Yeah, I know. It's so.
It's
It's the Family
that
Guy
is
aspect
Taika-
of comedy,
Yeah,
where
it's,
run a joke
sort
into
of
the
a-
ground and it'll get unfunny, and then if you just keep doing it
Yeah.
and doing it
That's
and doing
David
it, it'll
Letterman.
get funny again.
I think
He would
with,
do
with
that,
Dr.
he'd run
Earl
into the
saying that,
ground,
I'm going to
and
take off the beginning of the Deucecast where it says, "This is the movies," and just put in that line that Earl just said. That'll be great.
What?
No, you can
What
send
is
it
it?
to me. I won't send him the audio. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
thank you.
I'll show you how to pull it from YouTube.
I know how to get it. No problem.
YouTube to MP3.
hurry before this channel is banned.
Oh, it's already.
Yeah.
we've
The
already-
Rifen
No, I think we've
effect.
crossed-
The Rifen
we've gone way past. This is
One
not.
thing I did expect from this movie was well, I mean, you see this happening in the MCU, but you see it happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Where you got this popular character, it's going to be the big draw, and then they hand it off to a, whatever, a more politically acceptable, character.
They didn't do that, thankfully.
No, they didn't, and I was really surprised that this was fully a Thor
Thor's going to
movie.
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a piece
I was
of-
She
surprised
did
to see
not-
that Thor was going to return at the end.
Yeah.
He was still pretty
maybe 4 or
competent.
5.
He was
I mean,
he
he
was
might be something
competent in
else.
fighting. She didn't like come in and save him because she's so much better than he was, which you get a lot. The other movie that did that very well recently, I think, was Top Gun, where there was this female pilot that they absolutely did not reference as in any way as being a female pilot. She was just good at what she did and
Yeah.
coexisted
She was
with
one of my favorite
everybody.
characters.
I have some information.
Yeah, she was
about-
great.
I have some information about that. They
Do not ruin me.
Yeah,
They wrote it as her doing that stuff and referencing like her being a woman pilot, and then she hung out with a bunch of women pilots and was like, "This is not
They were
how
like,
they act."
they don't do that. Yeah, right.
Oh,
Good.
that's
Good.
like-
Well, that's
nice.
all right. I
pilots
mean, that's it makes. I mean, I appreciate that they were willing to not cram a message that isn't real, that
Because she
doesn't
said that in an
exist in the
interview.
wild. Yeah, good.
She said that in an interview. So
Yeah, well, good. Well, that's
cool. I'm
okay.
glad they
Yeah.
took that out.
Hmm.
This
This
just
big
in.
panel of 7 guys. talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
okay, here's the thing. I knew
And
what
as
he
long
was-
as they can't do anything with their own bodies, I'm happy.
don't you go assuming stuff about me, Michael.
Oh, my bad. You're right. I totally did not misgender anyone.
Hey, we're already going to get banned. Let's just keep
No,
going.
I'm kidding.
I'll
I'm
fix it.
kidding.
I'll fix
That
it.
was a.
Men can get pregnant. I'm with her.
I'm kidding. Stop
We're,
it. Stop
we're
it.
solid. We're solid.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
kidding.
solid.
we really
I like-
want to
I like
see the
women.
last
They're great.
apparently.
Very capable people.
Right when you're opening the door to slowly leave. That was like
That's so he can make his getaway.
that was
Closet.
like the Homer
This
meme.
is
He's worried that he's worried that a viewer's going to swat him.
Yes, Austin Nate. Ryfen is my least favorite part of Maverick 2. So, right.
Wait, what?
The woman
was
being
funny.
your least favorite part of Maverick.
Ryfen is my least favorite part of Maverick 2. Yes.
My
Oh, that's
least
right, because
favorite-
Catwoman was your least favorite part of
Oh,
Batman.
that's right.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that's a good bit.
Hang up
That's a
on this.
good
No.
callback.
He said Catwoman shouldn't have been in it
Great.
at all.
Great callback.
Should have been in it at all. This
Hang up
character
on
should not
Roth,
have
who
been
was
in it.
hating on women earlier. Come on.
I
Great
said I was
callback.
not upset that she died. I stand by that.
Here's the thing. I knew that they were adapting this storyline in when they announced this in
Sure.
2019. I sent my
Yeah.
friend a message. I screenshot it the other day that was like, Jane is going to enter this thing as Thor, and then she's going to have a heroic moment, and then she's going to die. And I don't really think she had that much of a
Nailed
heroic
it.
moment. But
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
when
well,
she
she-
comes
she broke
back
the
at,
sword.
at the
Yeah,
center
she
of the, yeah.
breaks.
Yeah,
so
she was there at the
it's
very
the,
end to help
it's
him.
the hammer
Yeah, yeah.
with the sword together. That's the
Yeah.
Right.
Mule
But she
breaker.
showed up. You know, she
Seriously,
showed up and
saved
he
her
was on the
life.
rocks. you know?
That's what they did in the comics, except in the comics they're
Girl's
gutless
like,
and then brought her
she gave
immediately
her
back.
life.
As, no.
Garrus is like, I don't think she did much of anything.
Not very
she
much
was-
heroic.
Oh, I've got chemo.
We got
here.
30
I guess
Thors
I'll
behind.
save
What a
Thor.
sacrifice! She had days to live.
I
We got
mean,
30
Natasha did more
Thors
than she
behind
did.
her.
let's
Why
be
do we
honest.
need her?
Garrus is like, we
When
don't
she
need this
hobbled
mighty
in,
Thor.
when she hobbled in with her IV on the bag.
Where she
That's
was
not
squeezing
heroic.
it. So here's the interesting thing. They established that in this film that Mjolnir is like sucking her life out of her or something, which is totally not what happens in the comics. In the
No, I
comics,
know.
Well, that's
she's taking,
okay.
in the comics, she's taking chemotherapy. And here's the interesting thing.
It keeps her alive, right?
But she turns into Thor, and when she turns into Thor, it gets rid of all the impurities, including the toxins in her body, which is chemotherapy.
You're right.
So that slowly kills her because she's getting rid of the chemotherapy. In this movie, nothing's even working, so she's just gonna die anyway.
Right. She's just going to die
He
anyway.
said,
That's what I'm saying.
"Because
It's not
you're doing
heroic.
this, it's sucking all the mortal strength you have. What mortal strength do we have?
And she's
don't know.
clearly
I
an
would like some of
atheist,
that.
so she needed to die to go to Valhalla instead of burn in hell for eternity.
Is that not the location that the War Boys were trying to get to in Mad Max Fury Road? I felt like there was such a
Valhalla?
great chance for a crossover. Yeah, Valhalla. When
Well,
they sprayed
yeah,
themselves.
I
yeah,
think
I
so.
know.
But that's a
Yeah,
Norse
when she
thing.
said, "Witness me," and sprayed her face.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's just a Norse thing, though.
Yeah,
It's a Norse thing.
Yeah.
I
It's-
know what
it's
it
a
is.
mini. We all
I gotta say, I do get a kick out of whenever they have the fake actors. You know, like the fake.
Yeah, no, that
Thor,
was
the
that was
fake-
good.
Oh,
Those
I
are
love,
like-
McCarthy
I
was
love
awesome.
Matt Damon as Loki and him coming
Yeah.
in. Should we do a play about this?
Yeah.
Bring up
Yeah,
morale?
that was funny. That was a
Company
funny
scene.
bit.
They didn't say no.
Yeah, they didn't say
I
that.
never want Melissa McCarthy to be in anything I want.
Glad I'm not the
Hella.
only one.
I don't think we're going to see Hella in those plays again. So
No, I don't think probably so.
Uh,
Thank goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Poor
All right.
What a show, guys.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. We've
hey.
gone an hour and a half. Of
Going out with a bang.
nonsense.
should we say
That
anything
was-
more controversial? Or
There isn't anything
I do
more
realize this,
controversial.
We've checked
And I-
all the boxes.
I mentioned this earlier because somebody was talking about Matt
We've
Damon.
insulted all cultures, all
Yeah.
races,
acknowledging
all
the fact
genders.
that the movie Interstellar exists in this movie means that
yes.
Chris Nolan exists. So now I'm wondering, does Dark Knight exist? And is it a biography of a living superhero or is it a fake superhero?
Well, that doesn't. I mean,
So-
Not Batman
No.
and Superman exists in the They may reference him in Eternals.
yeah,
I mean, DC Comics can go on as they are. The problem is when you start to get these people crossing over into it, like Matt Damon in Interstellar is now in the, and you have, but they reference,
you've had
they
that problem
said
with
hot tub,
Fury.
yeah. They said
Nick
hot tub.
Fury and Star
Yeah.
Wars.
They said
But
hot
they-
tub
but
time
they were
machine
referencing
in game
movies, though.
also.
Don
Question,
Cheadle
the thing.
and Sebastian Stan and
Yeah.
It's
So
all-
I
it's
mean,
all-
you can't
it's all
you can't fight.
nonsense.
You
It's
can't
all
go through.
nonsense.
You can't avoid all of that. It's just
yeah.
say your
Yeah.
line. And,
It's
I-
it's like Miss Marvel's episode last week referenced Ninja Turtles, but how does Ninja Turtles get created in a universe with no Daredevil comic?
Right.
Does it come out of the real person or
yeah, yeah, because that ooze was the same thing that blinded him, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Which
So
yeah.
they were inspired by the
Well,
Daredevil comic that
no.
doesn't exist in this world. So
Vanilla
we're
Ice now exists in that universe.
Yes.
as he should in every universe.
As he
Yes,
should.
yes, exactly.
He is Galactus.
But
Is-
he's,
and
but
there's
he was
no-
never a singer. He was only a home improvement host.
yeah. There's no universe. There's no universe where he didn't steal that riff from Queen.
and it's always just legally dissimilar.
Oh no, not according to the court of law that ate him alive for it. Yes.
Except in like,
It's not da-da-da-da-da-da, it's da-da-da-da-da-da. Nope. You lose.
except like Earth 78, where Queen is actually being accused of stealing it from Vanilla Ice. I want to see that movie. I want
Yeah.
that
I would
movie.
watch that.
Queens.
There we go. That's your next multiverse. Everything, everywhere, all at once. There you go. Yeah. Vanilla Ice is the star.
Oh yeah, the hot dog fingers. That's a good bit. That's
Okay,
a,
so
VI with hot
question
Yeah.
for everybody. I mean, do you guys
Yeah.
really Do you guys really think this whole King Valkyrie thing makes any sense?
Don't care. Didn't bother me. Don't get it.
Yeah.
I like
I mean, yeah, I think
she was the best part of the movie.
I think that her
It didn't make
character
any
was
sense. though.
Her
Like,
expressionless face bothers
yeah,
me.
so
Her lack of
dull.
ability to act bothers me. But the character
No.
But
itself,
look,
I'm
she's
not
making
giving
out
you
with
that.
Taika on the side,
She's
so it's
so
cool.
dull.
It's all right.
yeah, the
She makes a
character
good host of
itself.
Westworld
they didn't
because
write
she's not a
much.
moat.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
that
didn't write that
concept
character
didn't
well.
bother me. King Valkyrie, whatever. I mean, when you're the captain of a ship and people say yes, sir, even if you're a woman, like I treat it that way. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever
yeah.
their culture is, let it be.
It was kind
and
of stupid.
go
but
with it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
So let it.
she didn't
let it
have
happen.
much to do really, and they didn't write her.
She was too busy sleeping with Taika on the side. So it's
Oh
Well,
my
she got
God.
more than
Wait, what?
Allegedly.
Oh yeah.
it was
Allegedly.
them making out.
Yeah. It's all over. Get on the internet, Earl. Come on.
Wait, there's an internet. Al Gore finally made it.
Al Gore, the climate butcher.
www.internet.com.
Maybe that's the issue with the film. Taika was just too distracted by everything else.
You should have given her a better
Yeah, he
part.
couldn't focus.
I don't
I like that
know.
Mikey's
Let's
trying to
give
do
her a
here
better
what I
part.
have to do on the podcast. It's like
my
trying to keep
gosh.
everybody moving forward.
He's got
and
too
reel
many.
everybody in.
I'm
many
just
other
wanting to
hosts.
end the episode. I just want to end
I don't know
this.
what
I gotta be up at 4
We're still
a.m., and I don't
going?
want it to
This is going to be our end game.
Okay, so be with me here. I have another theory. It's going to take me 20 minutes to explain.
Okay.
Okay, so first,
get out the chalkboard.
Get out the chalkboard. Okay. I don't
Mine
even think
is
we
a
need
terrible.
to. We're not even going to like do where to find people because nobody's going to want
don't
to
want
find
anybody
us
to
after
find
this.
us.
We don't want.
This
Yeah,
is-
no.
Do not
This
mash
is,
the button. Don't
yeah.
subscribe to this.
Yeah, at this point, it's just doxing.
just release this under the CTI label. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I appreciate everyone coming on to talk about Thor:
I
Love and
appreciate Big
Thunder.
Ass Con.
Ryfin said something worse than I did.
I know. I know. That I was taken aback.
By a mile.
I thought during the Miss Marvel talk I had one for the night, and he defeated me.
If
defeated
Ryfin worked
you.
for Disney, he would be making a movie for Daily Wire.
Oh my
I'm done. I'm out.
Wow.
I don't know where else to end. There's no way.
Right
there's
here.
no
Just
way.
stop it. It's right here.
I was
Just-
just
We'll be back next week. We'll be back
Hey,
next week. That's a
genocide.
question.
Genocide.
Maybe.
Next week.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like us.
Maybe.
Subscribe. I don't know.
Jail.
But thanks for coming on, everyone.
Yeah. Don't share this on your pages.
Run.
Don't shit. Yeah.
Nathan
Or
jail.
I mean, I promise you, this will be the most viewed episode.
My name
I
is
mean,
Jacob
Probably
Pinkerton.
won't.
No,
actually.
everybody we're all on it. We're not going to watch it again.
No.
No, because it's about Thor, right? Thor: Love
It's
and
about
Thunder.
Thor. Yeah. The
My name is
hashtags
Matt
work.
Mink. If you need to
It'll
find
get
me,
into the.
blame me.
It'll
No,
get
man,
into the
don't-
hate
don't
speech
throw
out.
Matt Mink under
And,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it'll
He's a
get
nice
that-
guy. Don't do that.
we'll show up on all the same InfoWars searches.
Just call this.
Now let me tell you about the frogs.
Just call this episode the Great Reset.
I would take some pictures shirtless with different lighting.
We're gonna get called in for January 6th hearings.
These supplements will make you big.